Hey guys, this will be a comparison video between my Savage XL Nitro and my Savage Flux XL. Um, the first thing you notice is these cars are definitely not stock because, for instance, the Savage Flux and this is originally a Savage X, and this is originally a Savage Flux, but they both have been converted to XL chassis, which give you about this length of increase. They also been widened, and basically nothing's really stock on them. The first thing about the Savages is they're great trucks, but of course they need some upgrades. Everybody knows that. This Savage Flux has cost me at least $2 grand, and probably this one too. This started out as a Savage X back in May 2012. The first thing I upgraded was to convert it to a Savage XL. That was probably the main change I did. Then I changed it to widened stance, and after that it just went on. My stock engine fried up, so I upgraded to a LRP ZR.32 engine with a Savage XL tune pipe. It's got an aluminum clutch shoes and aluminum hardened steel clutch bell, steel spur gear. It's got Big Joe tires with Axle 8-spoke rims. These rims are awesome. They have such a big offset that they increase the widen of the car at least 4 centimeters per side. I also upgraded it with a wheelie bar. This is just a standard Jado wheelie bar that I just chopped up and mounted, kind of Norwegian style, I guess. The Savage Flux, this one was new back in 2011 February, I think, and from there on this just got upgraded to hell. I mean, for example, it's got Intergy, these type of aluminum hubs got converted to XL, both XL length and XL widen. It's got a spur gear. This is a DE Racing spur gear, and it's got a Hobby King 150 amp ESC. They are both running Spectrum telemetry receivers, and these trucks are worth every penny I've spent on them. The main difference between these two trucks is, of course, the Savage X is a Nitro and the Savage Flux is an electric. When I got the Savage Flux, I was kind of a hater in the Nitro business, but after seeing a lot of tuning videos and that kind of stuff, I really started to think that the Nitro way had something to it. So I bought the Savage X. I got it really cheap, and I fell in love with it really. The stock Savage engine worked great for like a month or two, but then it just started heating up to like 200 degrees Celsius and just frying the exhaust pipe, burning out clutches, you name it. It started to just get hell really. So then I upgraded to this engine, this pipe, XL, all of that, and the main thing that broke on this Savage X was the one-way bearing in the starter. It was just fucked up really. It never worked, it just spun over. They were extremely cheap. They were extremely expensive here in Norway, but cheap in the US. So then I converted it to this engine with a spin start, but here there is no one-way bearing outside the engine, there is just one inside the main engine, and it works great. I tried it out with the stock pipe, but it didn't really give it the performance this engine needed. The Savage Flux, I broke an AM the first day, no problem. The thing that's been breaking on this car is the rear diff. I think I've broken like 4 or 5 sets of both back diffs and front diffs. It's not an expensive part to buy, but of course when you break it several times, it gets pretty painful to keep changing them. But all in all, I love my Savages. They work great now. They are the ultimate bashers, and you can't really say enough about them. The Savage platform is a very well-known platform. It's very durable, it's very cool, it's pretty old now, but it still works great. The one thing about the RC cars in general is servos, especially on Nitro servos. It's very tempting to buy servos from like Hobby King and eBay for like $5, but oh my god, I bought 4 servos for like $10 each, and they just fried out, they broke, the wheels were just too damn wiggly, they just never worked. I didn't really realize that until I broke 3 servos on one weekend. Then I said, fuck it, I just buy servos for a lot of money. So I ended up buying 2 Savox SV022 OMG, 2 of those, and 1 Futaba high voltage servo. These 2 are also high voltage, because in the Savage, like the main vehicle they broke in was the Savage, and it didn't really work because they weren't powerful enough to brake and really maneuver the car like I wanted. So because of that, I ended up buying this cheap Hobby King 2S receiver pack, and it's been great. It's been such a big difference. This is like $10 and it changes the whole car. But watch out, you have to use high voltage servos to use this battery. Do not buy cheap servos, they are crap. Spend money on servos, it's the best upgrade you can ever do. I've been so glad for using high quality servos. This is running a Savox power servo, steering servo, and a low-C steering servo. Front servo, Savox, and steering servo low-C. This one is running a Savox SC1258 TG, also a great servo. So yeah, servos is a really main component for RCs working the way you want them to. It has so much to say about the driving experience. Also, the Spectrum, the X3S, makes a great difference. One thing about the stock Savage X platform, which is the short one and the small one, is that probably the best upgrade you can do is to change them to XL size. They probably doesn't handle as well in the air, but as normal driving, it's just completely out of this world. It's something totally different. It's something you've never seen before. That's why I've upgraded both my Savages to XL size, because I think it just makes them cooler truck. They work much better, I mean, and it's just been a really great experience driving these XL size Savages. If you're new to the Savage Flux, 2S lipos work perfectly great. It's much more controllable, especially if you're using XL TVPs. But of course, to get the ultimate Savage Flux experience, you run 6S lipos. Over to the Savage Flux, no, Savage XL Nitro. The whole thing about fuel is very, very important. Here in Norway, there's a special company called Euroglow, which sells crap fuel. It's just mud water. It's just the crappiest thing you can ever imagine. I only run Rapicon Nitro RC fuel in my Nitro RCs. It gives much more power, and it runs cooler. It doesn't smoke too much, so cars keep clean, and you get big runtime with it. I run 25% Nitro. Unfortunately, my 4.6 engine didn't last too long. I used Rapicon fuel on that one too, but it just didn't last. This engine is a true beast. The stock 4.6 engine pushes probably about 1.5 horsepower, and this engine with no problem pushes 5 horsepower. It's just too damn crazy. 5 horsepower on demand in a car that weighs like 4 kilos. It's crazy. And the Savage Flux is even worse. This is 7 horsepower with 150 amp PSE in a car that weighs like 5 kilos. It's just crazy. RC cars today is just, it's just awesome. Here in my neighborhood, a few of my neighbors have been running RC planes when they were small, young, and it's been such a big what do you call it? It's been such a big improvement since like 1970 and 1980. Especially the electric part from analog ESCs and brushed motors. Now you run totally brushless engines or motors and brushless RC ESCs, and up to 22.2 volts LiPo instead of just a 6 cell nickel hydride. If you want to buy a new truck, if you're new to the hobby, I wouldn't really recommend Nitro, because if you use all your money on a Nitro RC, you don't get it to work, don't get it to tune properly, don't get it to run properly. It's really hard when you're new to the hobby. I wouldn't really recommend it. But the Savage Flux 2 is just so crazy that it's hard to run. The Savage X is much more controllable, but again it's Nitro, so it gets hard because of that. If you want to buy a new or a hobby grade RC and you're new to the hobby, these cars isn't really recommended because they're hard to drive, they're crazy fast, have a lot of torque. I would rather recommend like a Traxxas Stampede or something to start off with. And when you manage to control that one, you can move up in this world and buy yourself a Savage. And after that you can, for example, buy a Losi 8T, like this one. If you want to go even crazier, you can buy a X-Ray 808E. And I've also bought a Schumacher MI4 recently. So once you have like tasted the RC drug, like, you really can't stop. I've spent so much money on these RCs, it's just totally crazy. But it's fun, it's worth it. It's a hobby for life. It's a fun thing to do, and it's taught me a lot about mechanics and technician. So yeah guys, hope you liked my review of both, or the comparison about between these two Savages. And I recently became a YouTube partner, so please click on this ad box on the side of the video. It helps me out a lot. See you later guys.